All right, today we're diving deep into the digital underworld to figure out how global law enforcement managed to take down some of the internet's most powerful criminal empires. Let's get into it. So you see this number, $5.2 billion. And no, that's not the box office for the latest blockbuster. That's the estimated lifetime value of all the transactions that went through just one darknet market, Hydra. It was an absolute digital behemoth, operating completely in the shadows. And that really is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? How do you take something like that apart? It's this high-stakes global game of cat and mouse, where investigators are literally hunting for ghosts in the machine. And as you'll see, sometimes the one thing that brings it all crashing down is hiding in plain sight. To really get how these takedowns worked, you first have to understand the mind-boggling scale of these anonymous empires. We're not talking about some small-time operation here. These were massive, sophisticated online stores for anything and everything illegal. Just take a look at AlphaBay. At its height, it was 10 times bigger than its infamous predecessor, Silk Road. It had over 200,000 users, 40,000 sellers, and a wild list of products. 250,000 listings for illegal drugs, over 100,000 for stolen credit cards, not to mention malware, guns, you name it. And that's not just hype. I mean, the U.S. Department of Justice itself confirmed it. AlphaBay was, without a doubt, the king of the darknet. All this size, all this power, it leads to a really critical flaw: pure hubris. As one FBI agent put it, these guys knew law enforcement was watching, but they felt totally untouchable, hidden behind all that dark web tech. They thought they were just too smart to ever get caught. And that belief, well, that would be their undoing. So, you'd think taking down an empire this big would require some kind of crazy, sophisticated cyber weapon, right? Some intense hack? Well, you'd be wrong. The answer is way, way simpler, and frankly, pretty unbelievable. That's right. The entire downfall of the planet's biggest criminal marketplace kicked off because of one simple, almost laughable mistake. It was a complete and total operational security failure. And there it is, the billion-dollar typo. A free personal email address was the one loose thread that investigators needed to pull to unravel the entire thing. And here's how that one little email became the key that unlocked everything. It was a perfect digital breadcrumb trail. First, they found the email hiding in the header of the site's welcome messages. That clue led them to an old forum post from 2008 where a user named Alpha02, the admin's handle, had posted his real name, Alexander Kazes. Then they found out Kazes used that same Hotmail address for his personal PayPal account. And the final checkmate, when the police raided his house, they found him with his laptop open, not even encrypted, and logged right into AlphaBay's admin panel. Game over. But wait, the story gets even crazier. While the FBI was zeroing in on AlphaBay's founder, European authorities were quietly setting an even more audacious trap. This is where the whole operation gets really brilliant. So try to put yourself in their shoes for a second. It's July 5th, 2017, and bam! The biggest marketplace on the darknet is just gone. Vanished. Imagine the panic. All these users and vendors are scrambling, thinking they got ripped off, desperately looking for the next safe place to go. And where did they go? They flocked to Hansa, which was the third largest market at the time. Almost overnight, Hansa saw its user registrations jump by 8 times. It seemed like the only safe port in a storm. Little did they know, they were jumping from the frying pan right into the fire. Because, you see, Hansa had become a honeypot. It was a giant digital trap. For weeks before AlphaBay ever went down, Dutch police had secretly seized Hansa's servers and were running the whole thing themselves. They weren't just watching the criminals, they were the marketplace. Just look at how this played out. On June 20th, the police take over Hansa. Then, on July 5th, AlphaBay goes down, and the chaos begins. For the next couple of weeks, thousands of criminals poured onto Hansa, conducting their business as usual, while the cops logged everything: passwords, transactions, messages. It was one of the slickest sting operations in the history of cybercrime. So Operation Bayonet was a massive win, no doubt about it. But in the world of the darknet, it's like the mythical Hydra, right? You cut one head off, and another one or two just grows right back in its place. The fight was a long way from over. And that resilience is the core challenge for law enforcement. The demand for these black markets doesn't just go away. So as soon as one big player falls, there are others ready and waiting to take that top spot. They call it the Hydra problem. You can see this cycle, this constant cat and mouse game, playing out for years, from taking down Silk Road 2.0 back in 2014 to the incredible honeypot trap of Operation Bayonet, all the way to the takedown of Hydra in 2022. It's just this perpetual battle against the next big threat. And that next big one, Hydra, was an absolute monster. Just look at this. By 2021, it was handling 80% of all darknet cryptocurrency transactions. That is just staggering dominance. It made AlphaBay look small by comparison. But even taking down a beast like Hydra didn't end the story. And you want to talk about persistence? In 2021, the original AlphaBay's second-in-command, a figure who only goes by Disnake, literally tried to bring it back from the dead. He launched a new and improved AlphaBay, but it didn't last either. It just shows how hard it is to stay on top in this world. Okay, so this all brings us to the most important question. What's the next frontier? In this endless arms race between criminals and cops, where is this all heading? Well, researchers who track this stuff are already seeing the next evolution. And frankly, what they're seeing is a game changer. It's a fundamental shift in how these markets are built, one that could make them almost impossible to take down using the old playbook. Here's the key difference. Sites like AlphaBay and Hansa were centralized. That means they ran on actual servers somewhere that police could physically find and seize. It was a single point of failure. The next generation, though, it's all about decentralized markets. Think about it like BitTorrent. There's no single server to go after. The entire marketplace exists on a peer-to-peer network of its users' computers. So how do you shut that down? And that's the thought I want to leave you with. Law enforcement has pulled off some truly incredible, brilliant victories. But as these criminal platforms evolve to have no central point of failure, are these impressive takedowns just buying time before a new, seemingly invincible digital hydra finally emerges?